I call to order the regularly scheduled meeting for the York County School Board for Monday, May the 22nd. Good evening, everybody. We have a full agenda, so we're going to proceed quickly. First of all, I would like to introduce our pledge leader this evening, Janie King. Mount Vernon is very proud to have fifth grade student Janie King represent us and do the pledge for this month. Janie has been an SCA representative for the past 2 years and an SCA storekeeper this year. She was one of our most dependable students when we held our Shamgram fundraiser in March to benefit the Natasha House. Her service also stretches outside of school walls. She recently participated in a piano recital fundraiser at Patrick Henry Mall as part of a group that annually plays under the tutelage of instructor Mrs. Falk. The benefit supports underprivileged children in their pursuit of music camp during the summer months. She is a busy athlete as well, playing select soccer on the Langley travel team this year, and next year is being promoted to play for the CCL Elite Soccer League. She also enjoys playing basketball and tennis. Janie is an outstanding student, making the All-A honor roll every quarter throughout her years at Mount Vernon. We are sad that Janie is finishing Mount Vernon Elementary School, but she is excited about attending Tabb Middle School in the fall, where she will be able to take advanced classes. Please join Janie King in her Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Janie, and hopefully you're going to have some summertime to relax and before you get busy in the fall again. We now move to the recognitions and awards portion of our meeting. First, I would like to do the seniors of the month, and I would like to start with Bruton High School. The senior of the month for May from Bruton High School is Jenny Schuster. Jenny, if you're here, Mom, Dad, whoever else is with you, stand, please. Marisa. Let me share some information with you about Jenny as she is standing. Bruton High School is proud to honor Jenny Schuster as Senior of the Month for May. Jenny is a hardworking, persistent, and inquisitive student at Bruton High School. She is dedicated to any goal that she has set for herself and never gives up until the goal is reached. Jenny is an athletic swim competitor, which has qualified to swim in the state championship meet every year. She earned second place in the state in the 500 free swim in 2015 and second place in the 200 free in 2016. This year, in 2017, Jenny won the 500 free 2A state title. Congratulations. She has also participated in cross-country and School of the Arts. Jenny has excelled academically and is a member of the National Honor Society and Mu Alpha Theta. Jenny has earned highest honors each year and has maintained a 4.72 GPA while balancing several community volunteer opportunities with the Salvation Army, Special Olympics, Beyond Boobs, James City County Library, and a local food pantry. Congratulations to Jenny Schuster, the May Senior of the Month from Bruton High School. Mrs. Kursky, you have Grafton High.
Yes, for May, Grafton High School is honored to recognize Jalen Banks as Senior of the Month. Jalen, are you here? Yes, and your parents, your family? Jalen has excelled academically while attending Grafton. She is the co-founder and president of the Philosophy Club. She is also a member of the National Honor Society, French Honor Society, Math Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, and Vice President of Model UN. During her time at GHS, Jalen has contributed countless hours of service to many school and community-related organizations. Jalen's awards and honors include the NAACP Act So Award recipient, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. Student Service Awards recipient, the Citizenship Award, and highest academic honors each year at Grafton. Jalen volunteers at the Yorktown Victory Center, and she serves as a student aide and tutor for students needing assistance. Jalen maintains a 4.5 GPA and is ranked in the top 5% of her graduating class. She plans to attend the University of California, Berkeley in the fall. Please join me in congratulating Jalen Banks, Grafton High School Senior of the Month.
Dr. George, you have tab high.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Haywood. This evening, it's my privilege to introduce Chloe Hardian, Senior of the Month, and I believe her mom and dad are here. Chloe Hardian is an outstanding TAB Tiger. Academically, she will complete the York County Honors Program upon graduation, having taken 9 advanced placement courses. For her academic excellence, Chloe has been inducted into 7 honor societies at TAB: Beta Club, Mu Alpha, Theta, Rho Kappa, English, Quill and Scroll, Thespians, and the National Honor Society. She's a 3-year member of DECA and was chosen as the reporter for her junior year. Chloe is also a 3-year member of TAB Student Ambassadors, which helps transfer students make the transition to TAB. She also competes with Model United Nations and is a 4-year member of the Key Club. As an athlete, Chloe has been a member of the volleyball program for 3 years and the lacrosse team for 4 years. She is the current president of the Women's Ensemble, one of TAB's award-winning choral groups under the tutelage of our own Gordon Parr. I added that. Finally, she has been elected by her peers as the vice president of the class, not just once, but twice in both her junior and senior years. In the community, Chloe is a volunteer at a local retirement home and assists with her church's food pantry. She is also a member of the Children of the American Revolution Morehouse Society. As if all the above was not enough to keep her busy, Chloe has worked both in a local retail boutique and as a lifeguard. Chloe will be attending Virginia Tech in the fall and majoring in business. Chloe, you make us very proud. Congratulations.
And Mr. Medford, you have York High.
I do for May of 2017. Brennan Shalhoub, are you here? And your mom and dad and some siblings of yours. Everybody remains standing back there. York High School is pleased to announce the selection of Brennan as the May Senior of the Month. 3 words that would describe Brennan are diligent, organized, and humble. Brennan is passionate about his academics and puts a tremendous amount of thought into the classes he selects each year. Brennan has maintained a 4.83 grade point average throughout high school and has taken a challenging course load each year. Brennan is part of the International Baccalaureate Program, which is one of the most rigorous programs in York County School Division. In addition to being in the IB program, Brennan is a member of the National Honor Society, the Spanish National Honor Society, and he serves as a senior class secretary. Besides being great academically, Brennan is very involved at York High School. He's part of the Student Homecoming Committee that decorates the cafeteria and creates a parade float for homecoming. He is also a member of the Odyssey of the Mind, a member of the Catalyst Christian Club, and a member of the York High School indoor and outdoor track teams. Brennan is also active outside of school. He has participated in the Philmont Hiking Camp, which is an 11-day hiking trip in Arizona's backcountry. He is also an Eagle Scout and is very active at his church. He was a leader of the church youth group and also led that group on a retreat. He was also a teacher at the Fife and Drums in Yorktown, And York High School is very proud of Brennan and his accomplishments. You make us proud. Keep up the good work. Congratulations.
And Mr. Richardson, you have York River Academy.
I do. The Senior of the Month for York River Academy is Austin Rope, and he's here with his parents, Jennifer and Matthew Rope, if they could stand also with him. Austin Rope is the unanimous choice for York River Academy Senior of the Month. During his tenure at YRA, Austin has matured into an amazing young man. He is an extremely motivated individual with a strong desire to succeed. Austin has demonstrated his motivation through maintaining a solid academic performance and showing his technological and real-world savvy by earning 8 industry certifications, including several Microsoft Office, Adobe Suite certifications, in addition to the Commonwealth's workplace readiness skills. For 2 years, Austin has been a member of the team that goes to our elementary schools in the spring to move and set up computers for their testing in that time of the year. Austin is a natural-born leader who is always willing to lend a helping hand when needed at YRA. He has taken the leading role and is an integral piece of the success of the YRA Greenhouse project that they've experienced. Austin was nominated by his peers and teachers for that leadership role, and his classmates look to him for direction and value his role in the classroom. Austin was a member of the team that presented the Accent on Academics to the school board this past fall and has conducted informational walkthroughs of the greenhouse, which I actually participated in, so thank you for that tour. Through each of these presentations, Austin has grown as an individual and is now our go-to guy. He is knowledgeable and makes himself available for teachers and his peers. He is a charismatic, reliable young man that is also a pleasure to teach. One of the best qualities Austin is that he can take direction just as well as he can receive it. He internalizes feedback and uses it to improve himself. His warm and welcoming personality has led to many friendships in the YRA community. He has the ability to make people smile with a simple gesture or a few kind words. The staff at York River Academy takes great pride in knowing that Austin represents our school as the Senior of the Month, and also thrilled that Austin will be taking this remarkable leadership skills to the United States Navy and serving our country, having already enlisted and scheduled to go into boot camp in this fall. We're proud of Austin and honored for all he does for so many in our community. Thank you, Austin.
Thank you. We move now to our Student Service Award recipients. As Dr. Shander goes down front, I'm going to turn to Dr. George if he will do the recipient from Mount Vernon Elementary School.
Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce Lauren Boudreau. Did I do that right? I was more Spanish than French, but come on up here. Wonderful. And Ms. Mary Lugo, principal. Lauren Boudreau is a leader and role model at Mount Vernon Elementary School. She has been part of our SCA for several years, serving as historian in 4th grade and as our SCA president this year. She has enthusiastically led our student council through community service projects and decisions such as which Spirit Days should be celebrated. When asked why she likes to serve her school community, she responded, "I like to see everyone happy and getting people to participate." Her teachers agree that Lauren is a friend to all and makes everything she does inclusive so that nobody ever feels left out. Lauren participates in various clubs and activities, including the Odyssey of the Mind team. This year, she played a part in the 5th grade talent show where she and a team of friends modeled skirts and aprons from their own business, the Bumblebee Boutique. She is the chief designer and seamstress for her business that she began this year. Lauren also serves her community by volunteering at the church nursery and pitching in where needed at Grace Baptist Chapel. In her free time, Lauren enjoys playing tennis and golfing with her dad. She also admits that with 3 brothers, she spends a lot of time in the backyard playing baseball and football with them. We are proud of Lauren's academic achievements as well as the fact that she has earned all A's throughout her years at Mount Vernon. Lauren tells us that she will miss Mount Vernon next year and all of the wonderful, hardworking teachers who helped her along the way. Lauren, congratulations.
And Mr. Medford, you have Tab High.
I do have Tab High School, Dr. George. Yeah, exactly. They gave me Tab High School today. I'm going to ask George Glass to come up, please, with his principal, Ms. Siders. This is the Student Service Award for Tab High School. George is a conscientious and hardworking young man. At the end of this year, he will have completed a total of 13 weighted classes, including AP courses in English language, literature, European and United States history, United States and comparative government, and micro and macroeconomics. I want to make sure I get that right. For his academic successes, George has been inducted into 4 honor societies, Rho Kappa, Mu Alpha Theta, English, and the National Honor Society. Beyond the classroom, George is extremely involved in many organizations and hold leadership positions in several. He is a varsity golfer and cross-country runner. George is a 4-year team member of the Tiger Friends, a tutoring group that works with elementary school students, and a 4-year member of the Student Ambassadors, who help students new to TAB make the transition. He is also a 4-year member of the TAB Key Club, where he is currently the president. He has been elected as the class president for the class of 2017 for 3 years. As a junior, he was selected by the TAB faculty to participate in the American Legion Boys State. George is one of TAB's most active and giving students. If there's something that needs to be done, he is the first one to volunteer, and not only will the task be completed, but George will have improved the original idea. He will be attending George Washington University in the fall and plans to major in international relations and foreign policy. It is his intention to improve the world through government service as a career. George will be one day undoubtedly making a difference, making the world a better place as he made TAB High School a better place with his service, his compassion, and his leadership. Congratulations, we're proud of you. You're welcome. Take care.
We move now to our Community Volunteers of the Month. Mr. Richardson, you have Mount Vernon.
I do. And the volunteer of the month for Mount Vernon is Mr. Nick Spencer. Is he here?
Oh, you gotta come up here.
Yeah.
I'm s-
Oh. Come on up. And the principal, Mary Lugo, if y'all could come forward, please.
And somebody's tall as big.
We should always make it a surprise.
I like that. The students and staff of Mount Vernon Elementary are honored to have Mr. Nick Spencer to represent us as Volunteer of the Month. Mr. Spencer has been a volunteer in our schools for several years and an outgoing, busy hands of father of 2 young boys. We are pleased to have him share some of his time with us on a weekly basis. He can most often be found in the library assisting students with checking in and checking out books, but it doesn't stop there. As soon as he sees that a student needs assistance in finding a book, or a few students need to be redirected, he jumps in to aid our students so that our media specialist can go on with her lesson. He has also been known to come in at the last minute when help is needed for covering the library duties or when assistance is needed for events such as the book fair. He has covered more than his fair share of shifts. He has also been known to show up during our Mustang Meadows cleanup days and is present at many of our PTA events. Logan and Connor's teachers describe Mr. Spencer as a go-to parent volunteer. He is present in the classroom activities, evening events, field trips, and celebrations. If a teacher needs assistance with sending supplies and materials for a project or event, he is one of the ones to first sign up to provide what's needed. Above all, Mr. Spencer is a friendly, kind, and positive parent. He always has times to stop in for a short conversation, share a heartfelt comment, and never leaves without making someone smile. Thank you for all that you do, Mr. Spencer.
And Mrs. Kursky, you have TAB High School.
Yes. I would like to invite Angie Siders to come up here with the TAB High School Volunteer of the Month, Kathy Mahar. Oh, she couldn't make it. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and read about Kathy. Kathy Mahar is the parent of a current TAB High junior, a 2013 and a 2015 graduates. She has worked tirelessly for numerous TAB activities, but is most visible with anything relating to the athletics department. Kathy has been an active Athletic Booster Club board member for the past 6 years and the Spirit Wear chairperson for all of those 6 years. In addition to selling Spirit Wear, Kathy has run the Student Store, which also sells school supplies every Wednesday during lunch blocks for the past several years. In the evenings, she has run the Spirit Wear sales for the fall, winter, and spring parent meetings, as well as new student orientation and back-to-school night. Although Kathy primarily works with Spirit Wear, she has also been active in concessions. She completely ran basketball concessions for 2 years, as well as taking on the large endeavor of purchasing all of the food for the varsity football concessions. Kathy also co-led the junior varsity football concessions for 1 year and assists the TAB athletic director with coordinating sports schedules. In the community, Kathy is a 6-year member of the Hampton Roads Lacrosse Board, and surprise, the Lacrosse Spirit Wear chairperson as well. Kathy was described by another TAB parent as being an all-around awesome person who brings sunshine to all. She is definitely one of TAB's go-to parents. When something needs to be done, all TAB High has to do is ask Kathy, and we congratulate her and thank her for her tremendous service.
Mrs. Kursky, we next have York Foundation for Public Education presentation.
Yes, I would like to invite Larry and Kathy Cheney of the York Foundation for Public Education to come forward to make tonight's presentation to our student award winners. I say this is like the Price is Right student award winners. When I call your name, come on down. We start with the pledge leader, Janie King, Lauren Baudreau, George Glass, Ginny Schuster, Jalen Banks, Chloe Hardyton, Brennan Shalou, and Austin Roop. The York Foundation for Public Education is providing students with special gifts from Cookie Text, an edible tweet. Thanks to its partnership with Jeannie Fioca of Cookie Text, an edible tweet. A Walmart gift card is also being presented to each award recipient on behalf of a foundation supporter. Join us in congratulating these impressive students who have worked so very hard.
She didn't get one. We have another Virginia School Boards Association Honor Roll Award on behalf of the school division and the Foundation for Public Education. Mrs. Kursky.
Yes, and we would like for the Cheneys to remain on the stage with Dr. Shandor for the presentation for the VSBA Business Honor Roll. The York Foundation for Public Education is pleased to honor 3 of its strongest supporters tonight by presenting them with the Virginia School Boards Association 2017 Business Honor Roll Award. Thank you from the York Foundation Board of Trustees for your commitment to the students, staffs, and employee of the York County School Division. First, congratulations and thank you to Don Willis, CEO of Village Events, for his support of the foundation by donating the proceeds from the annual Blues, Brews, and Barbecue Festival. The foundation has netted almost $12,000 in the past 2 years and will benefit once again at this year's festival in May. Is Mr. Willis in the audience? Well, let's do. Second, congratulations and thanks to Alexis Swan, Market President and Business Banking Manager of Wells Fargo Advisors. Is Mrs. Swan here? Yay, thank you. They have given an annual grant of $5,000 for the past several years for literacy initiatives in our schools. We thank you so very much. And third, congratulations and thanks to Floyd Morris and King Morris Supply. Mr. Morris is unable to attend tonight, but we want to thank them for their sponsorship at the Early Bird Gold Apple level of $950 for the past several years. Mr. Morris has already signed on as an Early Bird Gold Apple sponsor for this year's golf tournament, and we'll give the golf tournament a big plug. That's June 21st. And if anyone's watching tonight, there's still time to be a sponsor or to play golf. Just check out the website and contact the York Foundation. Let's give Mr. Morris and King Morris Supply a round of applause.
Mr. Medford is going to take charge as I come down with Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood.
We want to take this opportunity to thank one of our own who's leaving us. Cindy, would you come down, please? I'm going to untie this just so I can read it. And then we'll.
You're going to make me cry.
That's okay, that's okay. But she is moving. Her last official day is the 19th of June. She and her husband are moving to Ashland. So we want to thank her for all of the work she has done and unselfish activity to be on this board. The York County School Division recognizes Cindy Kursky in appreciation for your service to the York County School Board from 2012 to 2017. So thank you for all that you do.
And I'd just like to share that, Cindy, it's your wisdom, what you bring to this board. You question our questions, and we question back, and that's what makes it a healthy school board for our community, our young children, our families. And some of the things that you have brought, the wisdom, the strength, the like I said, the think outside that box that you were able to bring to this board is going to be truly missed. And I know that Northern Virginia, when you get up there and all that traffic and craziness, you're going to think you really wish you stayed in York County. But who knows, a school board up there might need you. You just never know. So we wish you well in the future and where your life takes you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Cindy, I'd like to echo what Mark has said, and haven't served with you long on the board, but we're certainly going to miss you, and thank you for all your service to York County. Thank you.
And Cindy, of course, I echo all of these. You and I think, have always sort of connected, and I have a healthy respect for your insistence upon the details and answers, and I appreciate that, and I've learned from you, and I will miss you, just like all of us. I wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you all so very much. I will definitely miss everyone.
Me. So, Ms. Kursky, I want to thank you. I've had the opportunity to work with you for 3 years. As all the board members have sort of echoed what they said, I so appreciate your ability to be a straight shooter. From the interview till now, you shot me straight, and I certainly appreciate that. It hurts sometimes, but I appreciate all of it. It's always advocating for our students and advocating for our teachers. So I certainly appreciate that, and I'll certainly miss working with you. We have a couple gifts for you as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So we got you some flowers.
Oh, thank you.
We also you're going to be doing some landscaping, so we got you something to plant.
Thank you. I will always remember you guys. I will always remember. This has been the honor.
I'm not sure if this is.
I had planned to make remarks during the school board comment section, but This has been an honor of a lifetime to represent District 2 on the school board, and it has been a pleasure to work with each and every one of you. And I'm going to miss you all. And I'm going to look back on the last 5-6 years very fondly. So thank you, and continue to lead YCSD into perfection, because it's almost there already. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, while Cindy goes and cleans up the tears and the... All right, next, I'd like to bring Mr. Dennis Jarrett up front, please, to stand with Mrs. Haywood and our superintendent, Dr. Shandor. Yes, Dennis,
Yes, Dennis.
we're doing this.
Oh, you thought so, huh? We're going to save our comments and let Mark do his first.
Boy, I got something to do, okay? No, you're not. This school board is issuing a resolution today to commend Mr. Jarrett. And I'm just going to read what it says because it says it all. It says, whereas Mr. Jarrett's 37 years of public service and 29 years with the York County School Division have proven to be invaluable. His leadership has resulted in the school division receiving the highest awards in governmental financial reporting and budgeting, which in turn is a major reason York County School Division is one of the top divisions in the state. Whereas the school board, division staff, and the community have a tremendous amount of confidence and trust in Mr. Jarrett's ability to advocate for the school division and, more importantly, manage every aspect of financial effectiveness and efficiencies to benefit student achievement. And whereas Mr. Jarrett has continually provided a high level of strategic direction to the school board's superintendent, cabinet leaders, and each member of the executive leadership team. He is often pulled into situations not related to financial matters due to his ability to effectively problem solve and push a group to answer difficult questions. He does do that well, which results in a positive outcome. And whereas Mr. Jarrett consistently demonstrates his commitment to support students, staff, and schools through the division's funding mechanisms, Mr. Jarrett truly understands the relationship between division finance and providing lifelong opportunities for students and staff. And whereas Mr. Jarrett's knowledge and expertise and personal humility and professionalism made him a vital leader in the school division. Additionally, his positive outlook, calm demeanor, which he's exercising now, and fairness inspires confidence and a can-do attitude from others. And whereas Mr. Jarrett has been described as an interpreter who takes the time to provide explanations, support, and guidance to others in planning and managing their budgets. He has the unique ability to explain complicated process in terms that can easily be understood and followed, and we as a school board appreciate that. Now, therefore, be it resolved on the 22nd day of May in the year 2017 by the School Board of York County, Virginia, that Mr. Dennis Jarrett is hereby commended and thanked for his dedicated service to the school division, the citizens of York County, and the children who attend York County schools. He will be greatly missed by everyone in the school division. Dennis, congratulations.
That don't know, Dennis and I came around the same time. I am not a numbers cruncher. I want to spend your money, but I don't keep good tabs on it. And oftentimes when he's presenting information, it goes over my head. And I say, okay, Dennis, make it math 101. Make it clear for me. and he took the patience, and he's always done that. And I can only say thank you very much, and you're leaving me, but going on, you deserve all of this. You deserve all of this.
And Dennis, what can I say? The years when Mr. Henry sat on his board and just the years of what you've been able to accomplish in this school division is just, you can't capture it all in a resolution. And believe me, from the bottom of my heart and all of our hearts, you truly understand children and our school division and how to make sure it operates effectively, efficiently, and financially sound. Impact aid, good gracious. We hope we can bring you back to go to lobby in Washington, D.C., because one thing about Mr. Jarrett that wasn't mentioned here, but kind of captures it, and that is our county, our school division's we rely a lot on impact aid federal dollars. And Mr. Jarrett has built so many bridges and relationships with federal legislators and their staffs in Washington, D.C. over the years that he ensures by those visits and just that continuing conversations with those folks to continue that, what was it, 5, 6 plus, no, it's probably more than that, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars that we receive from the federal government. So, but what you've done, good gracious, we're going to miss you.
Yes. Dennis, oh my goodness. Listening to Mark read that, you put the most difficult budget situation in the simplest terms for us to understand, and you've kept this division afloat during the most difficult budget seasons. And we owe a tremendous amount of thanks to you for what you've done. I can't imagine this school division without you, but I know that you're ready to travel and enjoy life, and I don't blame you, but you are going to be extremely missed. Thank you so much for your years of service.
Well, Dennis, I've known you for a long time. I've known a lot of the people that work for you for a long time, so I already knew you were a good numbers cruncher. But I found out you were even a better numbers cruncher than I realized when I came to work as a school board member. I don't know if you know it or not, but lay people call people in your profession bean counters. But I just want you to know you're a top-notch bean counter, okay? You do a wonderful job, so we're going to miss you, but certainly enjoy your retirement. Yeah.
And Dennis, I always said when Dennis leaves, I'm out of here. You beat me to it. It's, what can I say? It's just been an honor. Dennis, you're the kind of guy where I call you on the phone anytime. You can answer a question. I've been to your home. I've sat around your kitchen table talking school finances, and you've just been so incredibly available, and I just always have appreciated that. I don't think everybody realizes your standing throughout the state and even the country and some of the awards that you have been blessed by, and we're incredibly honored to have had you all these years. So I feel a little bit better that nobody else is getting you. You're going to go off to that retirement thing. So, but thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Take care, Dennis.
I'll just add, Dennis, 3 years ago when I got here, I want to thank you for your patience. I was coming from a different state and had to learn a whole different funding formula and how business is done in Virginia. And you were incredibly patient with me. I want to thank you for being such a wonderful strategic partner. As you heard through what Mr. Medford read about Dennis, Mr. Jarrett is way more than a CFO in this organization. He's a strategic partner, a problem solver who helps us deal with crisis situations and a number of other things. So you're going to certainly be missed. We'll certainly miss your laugh and your sense of humor as well. Cabinet members will certainly, and the rest of our team will certainly miss you. So thank you so much for everything, Dennis. Appreciate it.
One thing that comes to mind for me is actually a story. I've told this story many, many times, but I think I'll tell it tonight. It's kind of humorous, but I went through the York County School Division. Back in 1962, I was a first grader at Grafton Bethel Elementary School. And I remember my first day of school. Yeah, there was an event that happened. I got off the bus, walked up to the front door of the school, and the principal was at the school front door. And he was there to greet all the students. Well, I was about this tall, and I walk up, and this fella, I don't know if any of you know him, Herb Deppy. He was about probably, Carl, would you say about 6'7", 6'5", something like that? Huge. He was huge. Now, I'm a first grader, and I'm walking up, and he's shaking my hand. I'm looking up like this, and I was petrified. I thought, oh, my gosh, I'd better do right in this school. I'm going to be in trouble. Fast forward 30-some years. My first day on the job in York County Schools, 29 years ago, I walk into the school board office. At that time, the school board office had not been renovated, but you walked into the front, and there were two hallways, one on the right and one on the left. I knew where my office was because when I interviewed for the job, they showed me and all. So I go back I take the left hallway and I go back. Well, there standing in the hallway at the other end was Herb Deppy. I walk up to him, it's my first day on the job, I walked up to him and I said, you probably don't remember me, but my name is Dennis Jarrett and you were my first grade principal. And he looked at me and he said, you're right, I don't remember you. and I said, well, I remember you, and I stuck out my hand and I shook his hand. And I said, I see things haven't changed very much. That's a true story that actually did happen. But I would like to say thank you to the board and Dr. Shandor for all you've done. This organization has definitely given me more than I've given them. And that I can say unequivocally. Over the years, I've had a number of trials and tribulations in my life, and this organization has always been here for me. So I appreciate all that, and I appreciate all that they do, and thank you for this. This is a very good way for me to kind of ride off into the sunset. So thank you.
We have one other person that we wanted to recognize in her absence that Dr. James is going to come forward, was Dr. Catherine Jones, who is retiring.
Pretty
And
soon, no one's going to be left.
Oh, boy.
We got to run first.
Yeah.
And we have a resolution commending Dr. Catherine Jones. I'd like to read this. Whereas Dr. Jones has provided support and leadership to the school administration team, members of the executive leadership team, cabinet, principals, and assistant principals. Her vast knowledge, experience, and calming presence has benefited many students, staff, families throughout her tenure in the York County School Division. Whereas, now listen to this carefully, as a teacher, assistant principal, and the division's director of school administration, Dr. Jones sincerely served the needs of the division, school, administrators, as well as students and their families. Her unfailing commitment to the profession was demonstrated on a daily basis through her interactions with all. And whereas Dr. Jones has worked tirelessly to meet the needs of our community, she has dedicated her life to serving others as she's been a go-to leader in the school division. Her problem-solving abilities and crisis management skills have been essential to the operations of the school division. And whereas Dr. Jones has been described as a mentor and a great listener, she answered questions and provided solutions that instilled confidence in those who sought her advice. And whereas Dr. Jones has devoted many years of service to the school division, and her commitment to excellence is evident in everything she has done, the Department of School Administration will miss the manner in which she created a work environment that feels like home because it is so warm and welcoming. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 22nd day of May in the year 2017 by the School Board of York County, Virginia, that Dr. Catherine Jones is hereby commended and thanked for her dedicated service to the school division, the citizens of York County, and the children who attend York County schools. Dr. Jones will be missed by all who have had the opportunity to work with her. And in her absence, congratulations to Dr. Jones.
One thing I'll say about Dr. Jones, or Catherine, as I call her, when you've been around here as long as I have, people become family, and you work together as family. And even when she was principal at Bruton High School, I knew if there was a concern or a question, she would shoot it from the hip. You knew exactly what was going to happen. There was no midway part. And oftentimes, as I am out in the community, parents will approach me and have a concern. And it may be in the grocery store, sometime at night. Well, that I would go home and shoot her an email to say, I just threw your name under the bus. Somebody's going to call you and for you to follow up. And she would text me back that next morning, email me back, I've already talked to the parent. That was the kind of relationship we had, and I can only say thank you to her for all that she's done for the school division.
And absolutely. And Carl, I'm going to put you on the spot. I know Bruton High School, where she was with York High School. Where did she start teaching?
I'm sorry.
She started teaching at Tab High School.
Tab High.
When she first came to the division.
All right.
Absolutely. I was also part of the staff. I think I was there when Mr. Jarrett was graduated too. Someone tells me that. Yes, that's true.
I believe she was teaching when I was a student there too. That's beside.
Yes, she was. And of course, her husband's military. He had several tours of duty overseas. But when she came back to the States, she came back to the York County School Division, where she was a teacher, of course, principal at York High School, assistant principal first at Tab High School when I was there, then went on to be principal at York High School, principal at Bruton High School, and then also the director of school administration. Members of my team refer to her very affectionately as Mother. Where is Mother? And that simply means she was going to take care of you. She was going to teach you a few lessons along the way, but in the end, she's going to take very good care of you. And many of the administrators in the audience tonight can say that she will take good care of you, and she will be sadly missed, especially by me. Those are really big shoes for me to have to fill now. But anyway, we really appreciate all her work and dedication. You know, someone that comes to work at 6:30 in the morning and is on call at midnight if you need her. That's Dr. Catherine Jones, Mother, as we affectionately call her.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
I had to laugh at what you said because I've also given Catherine Jones's name out to many parents who would contact me. She knows how to put out fires.
Yeah.
She is a remarkable lady, and I have the utmost respect for her, and I wish her well.
Wish her well. Known her for several years, haven't had the opportunity to work with her much, but I know she does a phenomenal job in what she does because you never hear any complaints from anybody after she's talked to them. But yeah, we're going to miss her.
She does a fine job, and she truly does take a lot of the fire and put out a lot of the fires, and I've always appreciated that about her. So I wish her all the best.
If I could just add, again, you're right, Carl, those are going to be big shoes for you to fill. You know, Catherine has the remarkable ability to listen, and unfortunately in our society, there's not a lot of good listeners out there sometimes. We're already thinking about what we're going to respond to. Catherine does a great job of listening and de-escalating situations, peeling everything back to what the root cause of a problem is. She's done a remarkable job with that. She has mentored so many people, so many administrators in this division throughout the years. We're really fortunate to have her work in this division for so many years, and we're all certainly going to miss her. So I don't know if there's anything else to say.
No, and just to let you know, we have one more presentation. That's the Accent on Academics. Thank you, Dr. James. And then we'll take a recess so we can come down and meet all of you all. But if you would, just hold off for this one more presentation.
Yep, because Bethel Manor Elementary School is up next, so Dr. Shandor is going to introduce that as Mrs. Haywood comes up.
All right, for this evening's Accent on Academics, Bethel Manor Elementary School will present Number Talks in Kindergarten. Bethel Manor staff and students will highlight the components of number talks as seen in a kindergarten classroom. Through this program, students learn to make sense of numerical relationships through observations, hands-on manipulatives, and conversations. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Dr. David Wrights, Bethel Manor Elementary School Principal. Dr. Wrights.
Thank you and good evening, Madam Chair, school board members, and Dr. Shandor. Thank you for providing this opportunity to present to the board and community this evening. My name is David Wrights. I serve as the principal at Bethel Manor Elementary School, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you Christy Pica, who will give you an overview of number talks in the county, and Kendra Mason, who will give you a glimpse of number talks in a kindergarten classroom.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Christy Pica, and I'm the coordinator for mathematics K-12 for the division. I'd like to thank the Bethel Manor team for allowing me a few moments to share a brief definition of number talks and the history of number talks in our division. Number talks are brief but purposeful and powerful classroom discussions centered on computational problems that are solved mentally. A group of 35-plus K-2 teachers and administrators were trained in June of 2016. Through this training, each elementary school received copies of Number Talks by Sherry Parrish with the accompanying DVD that could then be utilized by their grade level teams to continue learning about how to implement Number Talks in the classroom. I am pleased that we will be able to continue to offer Number Talks this year as an optional summer PD, and then embed this powerful training into August in year-long curriculum training at the elementary school level for all K-5 teachers. As a division, we have purchased additional Number Talk books focusing on fractions, decimals, and percentages for each building. At this time, I'd really like to turn it over to Kendra Mason, kindergarten teacher extraordinaire for Bethel Manor, so she can share with you her class's story for Number Talks.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Shandor. Thank you for this opportunity to share our journey with Number Talks. You might ask, why should teachers start Number Talks in kindergarten? First, implementing Number Talks builds number sense. Students begin to understand relationships between numbers. For example, students can find different ways to make the same number. They also begin to recognize patterns like counting by 5s and 10s and then by 2s and 3s. An important component of Number Talks is that students verbalize their thinking and share their own strategies for solving problems. Number Talks helps build fluency. Students can look at sets of objects without having to count each one. Instead, they recognize easily identifiable groupings and then combine the values. This skill transfers to a speedy mastery of addition and then subtraction facts. Number Talks has created a math community where it is safe to take risks. Mistakes are not viewed negatively, but are merely opportunities for further learning. Number Talks is differentiated. It allows for flexible thinking and for students to learn at their own pace. Some students will still be counting with one-to-one correspondence. In this example with our whiteboard there and the 10 frame, in this example, a student could count every dot. Another student will look for patterns in the sets, counting by 5s to get to 15 and then counting on 2 more. Still others will be ready to subtract from the set in their head, starting with 20 and subtracting by 3. Teachers are often concerned about adding one more thing to their already busy schedule. Number Talks can be planned for just 5 to 15 minutes. I have built it into my own schedule for 10 minutes 3 times a week. The lessons build on each other. We literally started with different ways to make 3, and then 4, and then 5. The activities follow a purposeful progression to guide students to focus on a particular mathematical relationship. Here are some of the tools that are used throughout Number Talks. You will hear me refer to dot cards, 10 frames, and Reckon Recs. We also frequently use dice, dominoes, and whiteboards. 3 of my students are here tonight to show you some of those examples. Kamira has dot cards, and you'll see in our presentation how we use those. Isaac is holding our 10 frame. We were just working with that today. And then Lillian is holding our Reckon Rec, and you'll see examples of how we use those as well. All right, thank you. Here are excerpts from a lesson using a class 10 frame. Okay, heads up. Riley, how many are there? 15. Come on up here and tell us how you got 15.
I did 5, 10, 15.
Can we do that with our hands? Ready? 5. Oh, I have a few friends who aren't ready. Chase, ready? 5, 10, 15. Drayden, do you have a different way? All right, come on up.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
If you did it that way, give 2 thumbs up. Some friends knew there was 10 and then they counted on. Nice job. With our dot card lessons, students are excited to show different ways to make the same number. All right, you said you saw 10. How did you see them? Did you look for that square in the middle? And how many is that square?
4,
4. And then tell me what you did next.
3, and 3.
What's 3 and 3?
6.
So you had 6 out here and 4 in the middle, and you knew that was what?
10.
10. All right, come on around this way. How did you see it? Aubrey?
I saw it,
Oh, okay. All right, so you did like kind of a top shelf. How many are on the top shelf?
4,
And how many are on the bottom shelf?
4,
And then there's how many that were left?
2,
2. So let me ask you first, what's 4 and 4?
8,
Oh, and I kind of saw you were thinking, what were you thinking in your brain to figure that out? What were you counting by?
2,
I like that. So you went 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 2 more is what? 8, 9, 10. There you go.
3, 6,
Okay, so you looked for those
8.
3. So you went for those 3s first, and you went 3, 6.
and then 2 2s.
Okay, so I had 3, 6. What comes after 6 then? 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Students have learned to use patterns like counting by 5s. All right, so Kamira, with our Rec and Rec, can you show us the number 10? How did you get that so quickly? Did you count every bead? What were you thinking?
I just did 5, 10.
Although she showed 5 plus 5, another student might have shown 10 plus 0 or 9 plus 1. Students are able to use more than one strategy. In number talk, students strive to find the quickest way to arrive at an amount. Can you show me the number 12? All right, and cover up what you don't want us to see. All right, so how do you know that's 12? Did you count every bead? Well, how do you know then?
I got 10, 11, 12. I just got 2 red and 10 beads.
Wow,
10 blue beads.
nice. We have added several activities that build fluency and have proven to be very engaging. Students love the game show feel of Quizdom, where each student gets to enter their answer on their own remote. They cheer when we pull up a fluency and fitness slideshow because they know they are going to exercise after every few slides. 2 years ago, before I started Number Talks, I noticed during math games that most students were having to count each dot on the die. Now, all of my students can instantly recognize and name the value of any side they roll. This has progressed to recognizing values of sets and doing mental math in addition and subtraction problems. One student had laid out objects for the addition problem, 2 plus 4 is 6. But then she said to me, I can just move one frog over to the fish, and I can do 3 and 3 in my head to get 6. Another student rolled 2 dice when we were practicing the counting on strategy, and he said, I don't need to count them, double 4s are 8. Here's another example where a student was naturally able to use math to solve an unfamiliar problem. I was reading, and at a point in the story, there are 12 cookie pieces and 4 animals that are trying to figure out how to share. One of my kindergarten students' eyes popped open wide, and I could tell that he had figured it out in his brain. He raised his hand and said, you can give each character 3 pieces. Hopefully, these examples have shown you the significant growth that can occur in a student's number sense when a Number Talks program is implemented in the classroom. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We feel Number Talks is a vital addition to our math program. Thank you.
fantastic concept, so we'll see where they're going to be in first grade, right? Okay. Comments, board members?
Well, I was just thinking about Mr. Jarrett's comments, his story about when he was in first grade as I was watching the children, and I thought, man, one day, one of those students will probably be a chief financial officer in a school division one day. So way to go. Well done.
Yes, indeed, fantastic.
Great program.
I think that with Dennis retiring, we might need some of those skill sets up here on the board to get us through until we find a replacement. So, but very well done. I like the fact that this is something that's going to be expanded across the entire county, because we have presentations sometimes that are just fantastic, but it's like in one school, and this is something that's going to just, it's going to benefit a lot of students and build that base and prepare them for moving forward. So great job.
The nice part about it, they were watching themselves on the video and the excitement, fantastic. If that's it, we're going to take a break and come down to meet you all. We want to resume our regularly scheduled board meeting. Next is unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, ma'am.
I have none.
Thank you. We move to presentations. We have two, and I'm going to turn to Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood, board members. This evening, we have Ms. Catherine Carter, GA Grafton High School foreign language teacher, and Ms. Roberta Bockrath. Is that right? I hope I said that. Bockrath, Extend teacher. They're also trip sponsors. They're going to be sharing some information about the student exchange trip. We also have two York County students here this evening, Florence Darko and Kara Parr. They both were recent travelers in the sister cities Yorktown student exchange to France. Ms. Carter and Ms. Bockrath, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm not sure who's going to lead off. Students will, all right.
Bonsoir, or good evening, Dr. Shandor, Mrs. Haywood, and members of the school board. My name is Kara Parr, and I am a sophomore at Tabb High School.
My name is Florence Darko, and I'm a 10th grader at Grafton High School.
We would like to thank the York County School Division and Sister Cities Yorktown for giving us the opportunity to travel to France on the third biannual exchange trip between our sister city, Port Vendre, and Yorktown this past spring break. We would also like to thank our trip sponsors, Madame Bockrath and Madame Carter.
In France, we experienced French culture, made new friends, and had the opportunity to attend Lycée de Déodat de Séverac de Soreille.
On the first day on Monday, our flight landed in Barcelona, and we also stopped and took a bus tour in a city called Montserrat along the way to Serres.
Serres is the town that the high school is located in, and most of our families were located in Serres. And whilst we were there, being around our French families actually helped us to learn about the French culture and also improve our French speaking skills. And we also did un jeu de piste, which is a scavenger hunt in French. And we visited museums and local sites and really got to know the area.
At the school, we attended a few classes in French on our first day. The school starts at 8 a.m. and ends at 6 p.m. And we also had a roundtable discussion with the French students that are taking advanced English, and we compared the American school and the French school. We ate at La Cantine, which is the cafeteria, where they normally have 2 different main dishes and a choice between salads, sides, and desserts. On Friday, we had a going-away party between the French and American correspondents, where we taught the French students the Cotton Eye Joe.
Port Vendre is actually our sister city, and whilst we were there, the mayor graciously welcomed us, and we had un petit déjeuner, which is a breakfast. So we had croissants, beignets, tea, and hot chocolate. And we were also gifted lithographs of the only monument that commemorates the French and American partnership during the Revolutionary War. So the monument on the screen is that. And I was also privileged of giving a small speech in French to thank the mayor for welcoming us and thank his staff for welcoming us as well. And whilst we were in Port Vendre, we took un petit train, which is a little train, and we also went on a boat ride in the Mediterranean, and we were treated to lunch as well.
So, of course, you can't go to France without going to Paris. Ever since French 1, many of the students had been learning about Paris, and most of us had dreamed about visiting Paris one day, so it was amazing to finally be able to experience it.
Our correspondents will be arriving on October 16th in the fall, and they'll actually be here for the Yorktown Parade on Yorktown Day. And we want to thank you again for giving us the opportunity to share our exchange trip with you and for allowing other students from the York County School District to go on this exchange trip as well to France. So thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Great.
Any comments or questions from, or were you through with teachers? Anybody else want to have?
So the ones coming over in October, those are the exact families that you stayed with, is that correct?
yes.
This one?
Okay, fantastic. Looks like you have fantastic, wonderful opportunity.
Super.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, our next presentation, I'm going to ask Mr. Mark Shearhart if he'll please come to the podium, Associate Director for Capital Plans. He's going to present this month's construction report. Mr. Shearhart.
Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, Dr. Shandor, here's your capital projects report for the month of May. The first project I'd like to touch on is the Yorktown Elementary School addition and renovations here. And we're going to focus again at the blue area on this drawing here, focus on that area. So far the contractor has poured the concrete floor for the cafeteria expansion. He's began construction of the concrete block walls for the cafeteria. They've also poured the foundation for the exterior office wall, which is, we're having to relocate that. They have completed preparations to coat the gym roof, and they actually started coating their gym roof before the weather turned. And we have continued to review the submittals that the contractor has provided to us, is the submittals of materials and equipment that are going to go into the project. We review these, architects and the engineers also review these as well as myself, and they've been going through that process. We're very close to having all the submittals reviewed. So the project outlook last Friday, the contractor had planned to pour the concrete floor for the offices this week. Well, I think that's going to be postponed tomorrow. And they also had expected to set the cafeteria roof steel joists this Thursday, but I think that's going to get postponed too. And then the roofing contractor was going to continue coating the gym roof, which I think the weather's going to postpone as well. So they have continued to receive and store equipment. They have some large metal storage containers in front of the school, located in front of the school, and they're loading equipment and things into those containers in preparation for this summer. And a substantial completion for this project is planned for August 30th, and the final completion will be September 30th. This is a picture of what the school looked like in April. You can see they're demolishing part of the office walls here, and they had put the stone down for the concrete pad for the cafeteria. And this one here is what it looked like on Saturday. You can see in the distance there, you can see the contractors working, putting up the concrete block walls there for the cafeteria. And then as I turn around and face back the other direction, you can see here inside the cafeteria where they've poured the concrete floor there, and they're building the concrete block walls there for the cafeteria expansion. Bethel Manor Elementary School, this is a renovation of the 300 and 400 halls, and you've seen this picture before, just focusing on where they're going to be working this summer. And this contract has been fully executed. Everything's been signed. They are also continuing to send me submittals, and we're in the process of reviewing those. They also have conducted multiple site visits after school hours for planning and coordination between the different trades. And the construction for this project will start on June 19th with a substantial completion August 18th and final completion is September 18th. Next project is Grafton School Complex. This is a partial roof replacement they've been working on since last summer. They're working on it right now with the coating portion, be coating through this summer. Right now, they've completed coating the auditorium and boiler room roofs, the main gym and auxiliary gym roofs, and also the high school locker room and weight room roofs. They are holding off on the classrooms roofs proper until this summer so that we're not making any noise above the classrooms. So they still have to coat over the top of the atrium areas and in some other areas around the building as well. This here is a picture of the locker room and the weight room roof. You can see it's pure white after they get done. So I've walked this roof on Saturday and just inspecting it. It's very, very good quality of workmanship there, so I'm very pleased with what they're doing. This in the center of the picture here, you can kind of see this the new gutter there going along the side of the gym. We had a lot of problems before with the water running off the gym and cascading down the wall there and going into the building. And so part of the contract was a contractor adding these gutters here to divert the water away from that wall and keep the water from running into the building. So this portion of the roof is done. And here's the top of the main gym and the auxiliary gym. You can see it's just pure white now. It's very reflective. It's going to reduce the amount of heating and air conditioning required, or the amount of air conditioning required in the summer and the other parts of the school year. So it should bring the electrical bill down somewhat. The next project is the Tab Elementary School, and this is replacement of the heating and air conditioning systems there. We're waiting on final contract signatures for this, for the A&E contract for this. We met with the architect last week for a second review of the schematic designs, and we're meeting with the principal, Cheryl Parr, tomorrow afternoon to look at this design with her. The final design for this project is due in September, so that way we can take it out to bid in hopefully January or February, the latest. This is a large project and may require 2 phases over 2 summers, and the construction will start next summer. Not this coming summer, not summer 2017, summer of 2018. And then the last project is the new elementary school, and this is we're working on trying to get the contract for the school design. Project status on this is we're waiting on funding approval so that we can go ahead and issue a contract with the winning architectural firm. The schematic design for this is due September 1st of this year, and the construction timeline is yet to be determined. And that's my last slide for this evening. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you. I think we're moving right along.
I have a question about Grafton High School roof. Someone texted a photo of the roof leaking outside the auditorium in the cafeteria tonight after the heavy, heavy rains that we had. And do you have an update on that?
Right now, we have somebody on the night shift going through the building, and they've texted me two pictures. They found 2 very, very minute leaks, and they are in areas of the roof that has not been coated yet.
Okay.
Super.
That's good.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay. Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Shearhart.
Thank you.
We have two times for citizen comments. Let me share some information with you that we will be abiding by with respect to comment time this evening. Comments should be addressed to the school board, not the audience. The board's goal for the public comment period is to hear your concerns, comments, and opinions. Board members will not respond to questions during the public comment period. If you request follow-up from the board, please leave the request along with your contact information in writing with the school board clerk, Mrs. Ford. All comments should be made in a respectful manner. Individuals will be ruled out of order and asked to leave the meeting if they use any vulgar or profane language. The audience is also asked to be respectful and not engage in conduct that interferes with the ability of other individuals to watch the board meetings, that interferes with the ability of other members of the public to offer comment to the board, or interferes with the ability of the board to conduct its business. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and the public comment period at this point in the meeting is limited to 30 minutes. Time will be allotted at the end of the meeting for those who wish to address the board. Citizens also have the opinion of sending in their comments by email or letter. And let me reemphasize that. During this portion, as I open it up, you will have 30 minutes, and there seems to be more speakers than we have under public comment time. So Mrs. Economo, our attorney, is going to let me know when we have reached 30 minutes. We will have to then, and that's our policy, we will go into the rest of the meeting. We'll come back at the latter part of the meeting and pick up the public comment time. When your name is called, please approach the podium, speak into the microphone, giving your full name and address. When 1 minute remains, you will see the yellow light at the podium. When the timer reaches 3 minutes, the red light will go on and a buzzer will sound. The board respectfully asks that you conclude your comments at that time. And to keep things moving swiftly, I'm going to call your name. Please come to the podium. I'm going to call the person that's next in line so there can be a continuation of speakers. The first is a public hearing on the proposed school board salaries for FY18. I open the public hearing for this. No one has signed up. Is anyone here that wants to speak to this public hearing? And I close the public hearing. As we move into our public participation at board meetings, the first person is Holly Fawcett, followed by Grace Fawcett. So if Holly will come and then Grace be ready to follow her. Please give your name, address, please, for the board.
Good evening. My name is Holly Fawcett. My address is 203 Monty Manor in Yorktown. Ooh, sorry. I am here tonight to talk to you about Elizabeth Milne. This is hard because I have a graduating senior. So this is my last time for everything this year. It's a little difficult. Miss Milne has been the SOA coordinator during the 6-year time span that my 2 children were involved with the School of the Arts program. My daughter, Lily Fawcett, graduated from the Literary Arts track in 2015, and my daughter Grace Fawcett will graduate from the Theater Arts track this June. During her tenure, Ms. Milne has interacted with my children as a classroom teacher, a show director, a trip chaperone, a mentor, and a friend. Additionally, I have personally worked with Ms. Milne as a member of the York County School of the Arts Parent Advisory Board. My daughters have extremely different personalities. If you have more than one child, you may have experienced that. They don't agree on very much. However, they do agree that the SOA program was an important, positive part of their high school experience. Ms. Milne ensured that a quiet, anxious student had a place where she felt someone was invested not only in her academically, but understanding her personally. She gave an outspoken, free spirit a place to voice her opinion, but also helped her learn to look at life from more than one point of view, fostered in part by an international travel experience. I know that Ms. Milne has had an impact on many more students than just mine. I've seen her former adult students make a point of showing up at SOA events, going out of their way to speak to her at restaurants, and keeping in touch with her on social media. Students only do this for teachers who have gone beyond teaching their academic discipline and touched their lives. Ms. Milne is there to listen, to advise, to encourage, to laugh and cry, but mostly to believe in them deeply and accept them wholeheartedly. Every kid. The kid who gets A's in every subject and those who struggle to pass. The kids who have too many friends to count and those who have few. To paraphrase Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the jocks, the skater boys, the geeks, the nerd herd, the bros, the emos, the stoners, the hipsters, they all adore her. They think she's a righteous dude. While we'll no longer have a student in the SOA program, I do hope the new leadership will retain the spirit of love and acceptance Ms. Milne has worked to establish there. York County is fortunate to have a program where students create beautiful art, but also shape beautiful people who set out to change the world. thanks to Ms. Milne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grace Fawcett, followed by Lily Fawcett.
Good evening. My name is Grace Fawcett, and my address is 203 Monty Manor. My name is Grace Fawcett, and I'm a senior at Grafton High School, and I'm in the Theater Arts 4 track at York County School of the Arts. Tonight, I would like to speak on behalf of Miss Elizabeth Milne, who has been the SOA coordinator and literary arts 4 teacher for the past 6 years. While I have only known her for 4 of these years, my sister Lily Fawcett graduated in 2015, having been taught by Miss Milne in her senior year. I have personally traveled to Europe with Miss Milne, been on numerous field trips that have enriched my education, and have learned more than I ever thought imaginable by a teacher I have never had the pleasure to have been taught by. I can tell you that her time in SOA has made the program so much more than just a magnet school. She overlooks what normal people see and accepts every student that walks through the SOA doors, whether they have a bad home life, or they have green hair, or if they take AP classes or not. I can assure you, if it were up to Miss Milne, she would not leave her position as SOA coordinator unless she left in a body bag from her desk. I can also say she has done the most for keeping the arts alive in an age where programs such as these are overlooked. Elizabeth Milne is a close family friend, and she not only teaches the kids at SOA, she nurtures them to become well-rounded members of society, regardless of what track they take in SOA. She has personally told me that even though she has no children, all of the students are her children. She hears their troubles, she hears their gossip, their accomplishments and victories, and she gives advice and praise just like any parent would. Elizabeth Milne will severely be missed by students past, present, and future, but Tabb High School is incredibly lucky to have such an incomparable woman back on their campus. To whomever assumes her purple throne, please know you have a huge pair of sparkly shoes to fill, because Elizabeth has not only made a wonderful program, she has made many students a safe place with friends and a home. Thank you.
Thank you. Lily Fawcett, followed by Paul Fawcett.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lily Fawcett, and my address is 203 Monty Manor. I am an alumnus of Grafton High School, class of 2015, and I also attended the York County School of the Arts. I was in the literary arts program. And during my time in the literary arts program, I had the pleasure to be taught by Miss Elizabeth Milne during my senior year. I very much enjoyed being in her class, and I know all of my classmates did as well. Miss Milne is an amazing teacher. She is kind, she is warm, she is sweet, she is forgiving, and she made all of us feel very much at home in her classroom, even the ones of us that didn't attend Bruton High School as our home school. She did so much for us. She used to let us eat lunch during her class when we had to ride the bus from our home school to get to Bruton every day. She encouraged us to pursue art projects and to do volunteer work outside of school and to participate in sports. Whatever you wanted to do, Miss Milne was totally 100% behind you. I know for a fact that she shows up at the Bruton High graduation every year, because when I was graduating from Grafton and the people were coming in to William and Mary Hall afterwards, I said, "Oh my God, Dad, stop the car, there's Miss Milne," and I leaned out the window and I waved to her. Honestly, Miss Milne is a lot of people's second mother, and I know she would very much appreciate me saying that, because as you just heard my sister say, Miss Milne has never had children of her own, but she feels like all of her students are her children, and we appreciate how much she does for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Paul Fawcett, followed by two people, Eunice Namkoon and Kenna Williams.
Good evening. My name is Paul Fawcett, and my address is 203 Monty Manor here in Yorktown. I'm obviously a member of the same family that just addressed you, and I wanted to also speak on behalf of Ms. Milne. As you have already heard, both of my daughters have been in the School of the Arts program, and it has been a wonderful experience. It has been a home for both of my children, and Ms. Milne has been a huge part of that. She's an extremely hardworking teacher. Both of my children have been involved with shows that the School of the Arts does, and if you were to go to one of those shows, you would see Ms. Milne there before, during, and after to ensure that everything goes according to plan and to see her students complete something that they have worked on very diligently. Ms. Milne is the type of teacher that knows each student by more than just by name, but knows what's going on in that student's life. She is the type of teacher that when a student graduates, she remembers that student after they've gone. She has been just a joy and a gift to our family and to the program, and I just wanted to be able to let you know how important that she is to our children's education. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lacey McCain is after Eunice and Kenna.
Good evening. My name is Eunice Samkin. I am a junior at Tabb High School, and I live in 104 Oleander Court, Yorktown, Virginia.
My name is Kenna Williams, and I live at 803 Wyomouth Drive.
So we're here today to talk about the Y Street and the 24/7 campaign.
Okay. Like I said, my name's Kenna Williams, and I'm also a junior at Tabb High School. We are here today as members of Y Street. Y Street is a youth volunteer program of the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth that focuses on promoting healthy living in Virginia. We are here to talk about the 24/7 campaign, helping Virginia schools to be tobacco-free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You may remember us from earlier this year when we came to discuss updating our division's tobacco policy to become 100% comprehensive. We are so excited to see the changes that were made to our policy, such as extending the definition of property to include on- and off-site events, whether owned, leased, or chartered by the division. Updating your definition of tobacco products to include alternative products like electronic smoking devices and other products containing nicotine, and adding a provision to place tobacco-free signs on school property to further communicate and enforce the division policy. You have already shown a strong commitment to the health and safety of our schools and communities, and we thank you for all the updates you've made so far. Although it is a very strong policy, there are a few small updates to be made so that our division can become 100% comprehensive. We have provided a copy of our current policies and the recommended updates to use as a reference.
First, we recommend adding language about youth possession policies GBEC, KGC, and KGB. By keeping this language consistent, it is clear to the school community that student possession, use, and distribution is not allowed. Second, expand your definition of tobacco products and use in policy KGB to mirror the language found in all of the policy documents. Third, require consequences for visitors and students in policies GBEC, KGC, and KGB. Consequences help administration and staff on the ground to ensure the policy is enforced. Finally, add a provision to provide referrals to cessation resources for students. You can use a similar language found in your staff policy. We ask that these policies also reflect the language that will be updated in the student and staff use of the tobacco products. This is a clear way that all policies adhere to the same tobacco and e-cigarette-free language. As a partner and a resource to the York County School Division, we're here to offer to help update these policies so that our division can become 100% comprehensive. Once you decide to adopt these policies, clearly making our schools 100% comprehensively tobacco-free, we have great ways to show our support. First, we'll provide free tobacco-free signage to all of our schools in the division. Second, our free tobacco-free toolkit will be sent to all schools in our division. Third, we will add you to our official map of 100% comprehensive divisions on all of our handouts in our official website. Finally, in your folder, you'll find examples of how we can help our school division earn positive publicity for updating our policy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathleen Pika after Lacey.
Good evening. I'm Lacey McLean, and I live at 103 Galleon Court, Williamsburg, Virginia. I'd like to address the reclassification of the SOA coordinator and literary arts 12 teacher. I have been a student of MSAM and SOA for 5 years now, and Ms. Milne has been there for it all. She has been the most welcoming space in SOA and always greeted us when we entered the building in MSAM. She makes us feel like we have a voice in the ways that she lends her ears. Never once has she told us that she's too busy to talk, even though she almost always is. And she'll sit there and talk with us. I stay at the school late a lot for shows, for doing shows at SOA. And more often than not, she is the last one in the SOA wing, still on the computer, hard at work. Over the years, she has booked us amazing opportunities for field trips, such as, most recently, our trip to New York, where students got to see 3 Broadway shows, each quite popular. She's always on top of things, and never once has she ever complained to any of us about how hard her job is. I don't think there's anyone in the county, in the world, more qualified for this job. She works as both the coordinator and the Literary Arts 12 teacher. SOA is a difficult thing to describe. It is all I've known in the way arts are produced, but from whatever teachers have told us over and over again, there is no place in the world that runs the way SOA does. And it runs so smoothly thanks to Miss Elizabeth Milne. So please reconsider renewing her contract as the SOA coordinator, or at least as the teacher for Literary Arts 12. Many students have come here tonight in hopes of securing her position. Most of us wear purple, as that is her favorite color. Thank you for your consideration. I hope it is clear to you that she is I hope it is clear to you how important she is in the running of SOA and the lives of her students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathleen Howe is after this.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kathleen Ritchie, RICCI. I'm at 482 Burnham Road, Williamsburg, Virginia.
Thank you.
I'm also here to speak on behalf of Elizabeth Milne, SOA coordinator. I'm a parent of a current student in SOA, and my daughter has been a member of the School of the Arts project since middle school. And during that time, Miss Milne has been a force to be reckoned with. She has always been the cornerstone of that program and the cornerstone of my child's education. Her door is always open. She's always aware of what's going on. She'll contact me, or she'll contact any parent when she sees a concern in their child. We've had several losses in our family, and to have Miss Milne be taken away from this program would be a terrible loss for all of us. So I'm hoping that you all reconsider your decision to reassign her and leave her in her position of SOA coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After Kathleen Howe is Lori Mentor.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Howe, and I reside at 121 Lance Way, Yorktown, Virginia, 23693. I am here this evening to discuss the possibility of changing the school start times for the 2018-2019 school year. We have been discussing this topic with the York County School Board since 2007. Concerned citizens and I have presented health and academic benefits almost monthly since November 23, 2015. To date, the York County School Board provided an informational night in the fall of 2016 so parents can better be informed about the advantages of an 8 a.m. or later school start time should York County implement a change. The presentation also stated how the current bell schedule impacts our students' health and academic performance. You can obtain information on this meeting by going to YouTube and typing in Adolescent Sleep Patterns Forum. We commend the school board for taking the initiative to inform the concerned citizens of York County. Concerned citizens would also like to know what is being done regarding the rezoning and the impacts that will have in Yorktown with transportation. As you know, transportation is a crucial component when discussing school start times. More and more cities, towns, and districts continue to do what is best in the interest of their students by implementing a school start time of 8 a.m. or later. Starting the fall of 2017, Dayton, Ohio, Jakes, Oklahoma, Putnam County, Florida, Novato and San Marin high schools in California will implement a school start time of 8 a.m. or later, to name a few. Senator Anthony Portantino introduced Senate Bill 328 in California to implement a school start time for all middle and high schools in District 25 to start at an 8 a.m. or later school start time. This would not change anything with with their elementary school students. In the fall of 2018, Mounds View, Minnesota will also change their school start times. When will York County implement a traditional school start time of 8 a.m. or later to benefit the health and academic performance of their students? I'd also like to thank the entire school board for all you do, but especially what Cindy Kershke has done for District 2 and all the students
Thank
in
you
York
very
County,
much.
her 6 years on the board. We thank you, and I look forward to an update concerning
Thank you.
the school start times. Thank you.
And Nancy Wade is after Lori Mentor.
Good evening. My name is Lori Minter. I live at 275 East Queens Drive. I apologize for reading this statement. However, I was not a product of the York County Arts Program. I did not have the opportunity to serve or perform at a dinner theater in elementary school. I did not get the chance to explore what rhythm could do for an awkward middle school body, nor was I part of a high school theater program, all of which may have bolstered my confidence in public speaking. Had I been a SOA graduate, these remarks might have been charming, witty, and off the cuff. Luckily, my 5 children have benefited from the county's fine arts program. My eldest son started the MSAM program in 6th grade back in 2007. Unfortunately, his year was fraught with teasing and harassment. At the time, there were only 4 boys filling the 60 available slots. Imagine being humiliated by your classmates for choosing dance and theater over PE. He only lasted 1 year. Later, he would return to the SOA literature program as a senior to find that amazing changes had taken place under the stewardship of Elizabeth Milne. "Mom, I wish I had toughed it out and stuck with it," he lamented upon returning to SOA. Through his encouragement and the luck of the lottery, my second son entered the MSAM program 3 years ago. His experience has been vastly different. It is now not only acceptable, but cool to quote Shakespeare and dance before a packed auditorium. Things clearly have changed at SOA and MSAM. Elizabeth Milne has made all students feel supported and celebrated. Because of her, I am sending the engineering world my second son, who can speak in public and has amazing dance moves. I hope he fits in. Saturday, we received the news that my third son's name was drawn for the MSAM program. It is bittersweet, however, knowing Elizabeth might not be there. This son, who came from Ethiopia, at nearly 4, definitely has the moves like Jagger, but also has English as a third language. Will he have someone to champion him at MSAM without Elizabeth Milne at the helm? Will he leave after his first year as his older brother did? I feel his future is uncertain, as I feel the future of the MSAM SOA program is uncertain. I stand here tonight in support of Elizabeth Milne. Thank you.
Heather Walters follows Nancy Wade.
Good evening. I'm Nancy Wade. I live at 115 Queen Anne Drive in Williamsburg. I'm also here to speak on behalf of Elizabeth Milne. There are 2 things I would like to note. First, my daughter was a 2016 graduate of the SOA program. Even though she graduated a year ago, I still consider myself a SOA mom. My family donated money to the program throughout her 4 years of high school through the SOA Parent Organization. We did so because we knew that the money would be well spent and because we respected Miss Milne's ability as an administrator. We would not have done so otherwise. Second, Miss Milne is very attuned to the well-being of the SOA students and their families. She has a talent for knowing if a student might be in trouble or is struggling academically or is simply having difficulty finding the right path by which to navigate their teenage years. Ms. Milne has the ability to reach out to these students in just the right way, making a small gesture or an accommodation that can positively impact the students and their families. She does this with no fanfare and with no expectation of reward. I am here tonight because my family benefited from her talent as a teacher, her compassion as a human being, and her enthusiasm for SOA and its mission. I am a lifelong supporter of SOA, largely due to Ms. Milne and her efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca Warhol after Heather Walters.
Good evening, school board members. I am a mother of 2 SOA students and one about to start next year in the MSAM program. I'm not going to read my words. I'm going to read the words of my daughter who started in the School of the Arts back when she was in 6th grade. She, of course, was in Waller Mill before then. These are her words. I am writing today on behalf of Elizabeth Milne, who was director of the School of the Arts when I was in high school, and also the best teacher I have ever had.
If I may ask you to give your name and address,
I'm
please.
sorry. I'm Heather Walters. I live at 106 Valor Court in Williamsburg. I apologize for that. I'll pick up where I left off. Not necessarily because I loved her as an English teacher, which I did, but because she was so much more to me than a teacher. She was and is a friend, confidant, and second mother in many ways. Before I delve in, let me provide a little content. I have been involved in the arts since 5th grade when I attended Waller Mill Elementary School. From there, I went on to participate in MSAM all 3 years, and then I was heavily involved in SOA all of my high school years. MSAM and SOA are honestly the only things that made me want to go to school every day. I was the odd kid out because I wasn't popular. I was on swim team, and I did band and theater. Leading up to and during my senior year of high school, I began having a lot of trouble with generalized depression and anxiety disorder. My grades worsened, I stopped going to swim practice, and I stopped being as involved as I had been in the arts. With Miss Milne to help me through my last year of high school, I may not have graduated, applied, and gotten into Virginia Tech for technical theater, and I may not have ever seeked out the professional help that I so desperately needed. Miss Milne helped me grow so much as a person by teaching me that I don't always have to bear the entire weight on your shoulders, that there are always people to help you if you can pluck up the courage to ask. Without Miss Milne, my life would not be what it is today. I would not have chosen to follow my dreams and pursue a degree in what I really want to do with my life. Without her, I would never be as confident in myself as I am today. In the long time I spent in the halls of SOA, I have seen a lot of teachers come and go. I have seen a dance teacher who couldn't dance, an English teacher who couldn't remember his own name half the time, but I have never seen a teacher who cared for or helped her students flourish as much as Elizabeth Milne has. She treats students as if they were her own children because she legitimately cares and believes in them. To not have her as director of SOA and a teacher within the halls of SOA would be a huge mistake, and I urge you to reconsider your position. The arts is some of the most important part of education for most of us, and without Miss Milne, SOA would not be as fantastic and as impactful as it is for me. Thank you.
I am going to ask Stephen Grinnell to come up after Rebecca Warhol.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Warhol. I live on 207 Marlbank Drive in Yorktown, Virginia. I've been attending the School of the Arts since my freshman year in high school. I'm currently a senior at York High School. The School of the Arts has been a major part of my life. I've actually written about it in 3 scholarship applications and in my personal essay for the common application because that's how important SOA is to me. SOA wouldn't be what it is today without Miss Milne. And I've actually seen a lot of teachers from the School of the Arts come and go, but Milne has always been a constant force in the School of the Arts, and I always look forward to seeing her. Although I don't look forward to going to school every day, I look forward to the afternoons where I get to go to SOA and I get to walk those halls and see all my friends and see Miss Milne. Whenever something's wrong, she always knows. She comes by to talk to me, make sure I'm doing okay. She checks in with me to make sure that I'm doing well, make sure my family's okay. Sorry, I'm sick today, so bear with me. But even though I am sick, I'm here to speak on behalf of Miss Milne because I care about her so much. And I want the future of SOA to flourish and continue growing under her reign. I actually have a lot of friends here who will be in SOA next year, and I don't want to have them see a place like SOA without Miss Milne. She's so important. She always checks in to make sure we're okay. All the students who have her class, they love being with her, and even when sorry. And even on field trips, she always checks in. She's so much fun to be around. She's amazing. She always comes to see our shows. And during rehearsals, like our dress rehearsals, she always makes us confident in what we're doing because there's always the loud chuckle from Miss Mill in the audience whenever some mediocre joke is made on stage. And also, she's always there to provide snacks for us. When a student hasn't had food all day, when they're hungry, they come into SOA, they talk to Miss Milne, and she always makes sure that we're even fed well. That's how much she cares about us. I want you to please, please, please reconsider your position and keep Miss Elizabeth Milne. Thank you.
Thank you. Emma North, followed by, is following Stephen Grinnell.
Good evening. My name's Stephen Grinnell. I live on 116 Sir John Way, Seaford, Virginia. I'm here to talk about Miss Milne, as everybody else has been. I am currently a Advanced Technical Theater 4 student at SOA, and I've been in SOA all 4 years. And Miss Milne has been the most positive influence I think I've had at SOA throughout my 4 years. I don't know what else I could say that other people haven't said, so I'm just going to talk about one of my biggest experiences with her. Last year, it was announced to us at one of our crew calls on Saturday, where we were working on the show, that our technical theater teacher, Mr. Ryder, would not be coming back the next year. And this was, of course, devastating for everybody that was there, and especially for me because I was going into my senior year, and I was so ready to finish out my SOA experience with Mr. Ryder, and it was extremely hard on all of us. And this year, she has been such a positive influence on me. Every day that I've come into SOA, she's always sitting at her computer, and she says hi to me, and I always stop by and talk to her every day. She's definitely been a very positive influence, as I've already said a lot, especially with dealing this year without Mr. Ryder. There's been so many times that I've gone to talk to her about all the problems that I've had, whether just dealing with tech theater in general, if I haven't gotten along with other students, and I just don't know what else I could say. Especially with what Rebecca said about the snacks, which is one of the biggest things that she has done for us. There have been many times during our Saturday rehearsals where she has given all of us snacks when we haven't eaten for hours on end. And I just can't imagine what SOA would be like next year without her for all the students that are continuing on. And I hope that next year when I come back to see all the SOA shows and see all the amazing work that you guys have done, that I can give her a big hug when I walk in and sit next to her at our shows. Thank you.
Thank you. I have called.
The 30-minute time period is up.
Is up, okay. So Emma and the rest of you, we will come back to you at the end of the meeting. Thank you. We now move down to matters by board members. I'm going to start at the far end. Dr. George?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Haywood. Just a few things. 12 days. 12 days to go. Always have that update. This will be your last update for the school year. So hang in there. The schedule for graduation is online. Please know when your child's graduation is. Catherine's looking at me like maybe, perhaps. I bet it will be in the morning. Is it not online? Okay. Pardon me? No, the schedule for each school. The time.
I think Dr. James said there's 17 days of school left, Dr. James.
Oh, we're still on the days. Where'd I get 12? You told me 12.
Don't pay attention to Dr. George.
You need to go the extra 5, okay? So anyway, the schedule for graduation will be online, the times? Good, good, thank you. I know that's happened twice since I've been on the board to folks, so it does happen. Just a couple of things coming up I think are kind of neat. Tab Elementary School on June 2nd is having a career fair, which I think is really neat at that age, you know, the elementary kids. I'm going to go over and talk about dentistry, and I know some other folks are going over and talking about their specific careers, but I just think that's so important and such a nice thing to do at that age, because you really kind of make an impression that may carry him all the way through. So looking forward to that. Tab High School is doing something kind of interesting this year, I thought. It's a senior walk, and evidently they've not done this before, but they're going to go in their gowns to Mount Vernon Elementary School and Tab Elementary School and walk through the halls in their gowns and shake hands with the students and talk to them. So I thought that's pretty neat idea. You know, I think it makes a big impression on these young kids. And the last thing I would just like to say is just offer my condolences to the death of Coach Bradley at York High School, the untimely death. I did not know him well, but knew of him, and I know many folks miss him greatly. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Richardson.
Madam Chair, I don't have any matters to discuss. Thank you.
Ms. Kursky?
Well, I have my remarks ready here. I want to thank you all again. You've really surprised me tonight. I was not expecting that. You made me cry, and you know I don't like to cry, but I thank you for that. I will miss each and every one of you. I've enjoyed working with you. I have a decorative ceramic tile at home that says, "Life is what happens while you are making other plans," and that is definitely true. I had intended to stay in York County until the special election in November. However, my house sold pretty quickly in the first week, which is a good sign for the housing market in York County. And we all know why people want to move to York County. It's because of the excellent schools here. My family has found a new home, and we will be leaving York County on June 19th. This will be my last regular meeting tonight. I will be at the June work session and at the Grafton graduation. I want to encourage anyone in District 2 who is thinking about running for the school board to do so and get your paperwork in quickly because the deadline is June 13th. If you have any questions about service on the school board or running a campaign, call me. 812-8992 is my cell phone number. I would be happy to talk with you and to talk you into running for this seat. It has been such an honor to represent District 2 on this school board. Well, I don't want to cry again, but I have appreciated your support and working with me. I think we have several accomplishments that we can take a lot of pride in. There's much work to do, and I know the school board and my replacement are going to be 100% committed. And I wish you all the greatest success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Medford?
I'll put my tie on. I only wear it one time a year. It's the ugliest tie I own, but it's got the graduation festive things on there because it is that time of year. So for just the message to the students and families, stay engaged. It's not quite over yet, even though Dr. George is trying to rush things a little bit. And just get it done. The summer's quickly approaching, but graduation that day is so remarkable. Actually, 2 days because YRA is on Thursday evening, and then all day Friday for the 4 high schools. But to watch students walk across the stage it just makes everything that we do for the entire just decisions and things that we have to deal with as a school board, that's the finale of seeing success. I mean, right there is a hard work, and those students walk across, they're so excited because they worked so long, so hard to get to that point on that stage. So it's really a cool day. And that's all I have. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. And the only thing I would add to you all's comments, we were all present for the the Employee Award Banquet. It's always a fun time of the year to recognize our award winners. So I say to them, thank you for all that you do for your county. Congratulations again. When we look at our retirees, much luck and happiness. Enjoy your retirement. But also to the teachers who were not recognized, who were not there, because we have a lot of unsung heroes out there that do so much for this division, and it's a thank you to all of them. And with that, I'm going to move to Mr. Medford for financial matters.
This will take about an hour. Basically, for the month of April, sorry, Dennis, I made a few extra additional notes because it is.
You spent more money.
Yes, exactly. Basically, for the month of April, the sum of $3,308,660.50 were approved for claims. And so if you turn to the significant expenditures and some things that I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, obviously there's more on these documents that are actually listed, and they're on our website, so people can take a look at everything that we spend. A couple of things real quick under New Horizons. For March for special education programming, $138,597. New Horizons does a lot of different programs for school districts in our region, and that's just one aspect of that. You'll see grounds maintenance about halfway down for the County of York, the fourth quarter. Keep in mind, this is just 1/4. $283,662 there. Get our grass cut and plants taken care of. You'll see numerous other expenditures to Sodexo. That's our food service and cafeteria operations. But at the very bottom, we did some security enhancements. We're actually going from analog to digital at some of our schools. One's for $10,452, one's for $33,327. And it was just replacement existing older systems that are starting to wear out. Just trying to stay ahead of the curve there. If you switch pages, you'll see 4 items for Wallamill Elementary School. These are continuing programs or progress payments, basically, as they finalize and wrap things up down there at Wallamill. They total $158,594. You'll see Oyster Point Construction under that for the Yorktown Elementary School additions and renovations, a payment of $154,000. And then you'll see Mosley Architects, once again, to Yorktown Elementary School for HVAC replacement and A&E services for $12,023. Moving on to our food service monthly financial report, you'll see that we're really pretty much on target from last year to this year because of some, I guess, basically some surpluses in that account. We're going to do some capital equipment purchases, basically reinvesting the money back into our cafeterias with some upgrades and things. You'll see that come up later on in a document. But basically, there's some old stuff that needs to be worked on and fixed. If you look at our monthly financial report for the operating budget, our FY17, we got 2 months left to go in FY17. Our revenues are expected to be right where they need to be. We're about 88% received. We're about 73% encumbered, and our expenditures are expected to be right where they need to be also. So everything's looking good there. Dennis has given us the thumbs up. We're right where we need to be. Our resolution for tonight for financial matters, number 17-33, is a couple of things I want to mention. One, I think we get a really huge bang for our buck here. That's athletic trainers. This is for FY18 for next school year, $112,000. You'll see that we put out every 4 years this rolls out an RFP process for student pictures, yearbooks, and classrooms, but there's no total there because those fees are paid by the students and families. Further down, you'll see that Bethel Manor Elementary School is getting some tender loving care continuation here. Classroom furniture, building automation systems, and the hallways 300 and 400 that Mark Sherhart talked about today, and some hallway renovations at Bethel Manor Elementary School. This is coming from our capital fund, and I didn't add it up, but it's the one's $58,945 for some furniture, $109 for the building automations, $109,000, $93,500. I'm sorry, $88,756 for the hallway renovations. And then you'll see the kitchen equipment for $172,900 and the video display units for the food service that are estimated $50,000, which goes back to the mention of food service and the healthy account that we have there. With that, Madam Chair, I'll move financial matters and resolution 17-33.
Second.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
Ford.
A motion is made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Kershke to approve financial matters. Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
And Mrs. Haywood?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Medford. We move to consent calendar. We have a lot of items under consent calendar, and just let me read through them before I ask for a motion or for anything to be removed. Okay. There is, let me just go ahead and read the list, and then we'll pull that one item.
Okay.
Consideration of approval of personal actions, consideration of approval of donations in the amount of $2,800, consideration of a motion to authorize the division superintendent to execute the 8th annual addendum to the facility operating agreement between the County School Board of York and the Boys and Girls Club of the Virginia Peninsula. Consideration of a motion to authorize the purchase of FY17 State Department of Education approval food service equipment in the food service fund in the amount not to exceed $400,000. Consideration of approval of the changes to the student handbook and conduct code for 2017 to 2018 school year. Consideration of a motion to authorize the superintendent to execute amendment number 8 to the food service management contract between the school division and Sodexo. Consideration of approval of a motion to accept the resignation of the chief financial officer as plan administrator effective July 1, and to appoint the chief human resources officer as the new plan administrator effective July 1. Consideration of a motion to approve the agreement between the County School Board of York County and the York-Poquoson Sheriff's Office, and to authorize the superintendent to execute the agreement for the 2017 to 2018 school year. Consideration of approval of Resolution 17-34, a resolution authorizing the school board chair, division superintendent, and the high school principals to apply for membership with the Virginia High School League for school year 2017 to 2018. Consideration of a motion to authorize the division superintendent to execute a bus service agreement between the County School Board of York County and York County. Consideration of approval of the 2016 to 2017 annual progress report and financial statement for York River Academy. Consideration of approval of Resolution 17-28, a resolution to approve FY18 property and liability insurance coverage. Consideration of approval for the 2018 to 2022 local plan for gifted education. And lastly, consideration of approval for the minutes. There are several meetings listed there. I'm going to ask your approval, since we have not finished our citizen comment time, to pull the first one, and we'll come back to that later.
At the end
So
of the,
we're going to come back to,
just means we're gonna hear you first. Yeah, sure.
and if I may ask, the comments that I read earlier for the audience participation have to be in place for us to continue that comment section. So, if I may have approval of the consent calendar minus the first.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you. Mrs. Ford.
A motion is made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Richardson to approve the consent calendar with the exception of item A, personnel items. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes. Thank you. We now move to our action items. The first is consideration of a motion to approve the FY18 plan designs for health and dental insurance and to approve the rates. Did you have anything, Dr. Shandor?
Yes,
You
I
want
was
to-
going to ask Dr. Carroll if he can please come to the podium to share some information related to this.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. Mrs. Haywood, members of the board, before you have consideration of a motion to approve the fiscal year 18 plan designs for health and dental insurance and to approve the rates. From the budget discussions, you know that we're recommending a 5% premium rate for both employer and employee. We have two changes in plan design for the upcoming year. The first is the addition of a third option for medical insurance in the form of the Luminous High Deductible Health Plan with an accompanying health savings account. The second change is a change to the copay for Tier 4 prescription drugs from $60 to $120. With the dental plan, there is no premium increase recommended for either the Delta Care or the Premier plan. And we have two enhancements to the Premier plan. First, that if either you're accessing through the PPO, the Premier, or the out-of-network, we're increasing the percentage of coverage to sealants to 100%. And where we have not allowed periodontal cleanings in the past, we will now allow, or the plan will allow, 2 cleanings in 12 consecutive month period, and that enhancement is with no additional premium. I'll take any questions at this time.
Any questions? If not, may I have a motion to approve this item?
I move approval.
Second, please. Mrs. Ford.
A motion was made by Mrs. Kershke and seconded by Mr. Richardson to approve the FY18 plan designs for health and dental insurance and approve the rates. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. You can stay.
All right.
Yes, he is. So Dr. Carroll is going to share some comment for the FY18 proposed
Okay,
proposed pay plan as well.
The next item for action is the, to approve the York County Division FY18 proposed pay plan.
All right, thank you. So for the pay plan and result of the approved budget earlier this evening, the staff is recommending a non-licensed staff and administrator raise of 1 step on the pay plan, which has an average increase of 2% for each of eligible employee. Also, for teacher or employees on the teacher salary scale, they would have a 1-step movement also, which averages 1.5% for employees, and to get that equal to the non-licensed, adding an additional 0.5% scale adjustment. Other changes that are highlighted in the pay plan, you'll see in the board brief, but are also denoted by page. On page 3, you'll see that our behavior support specialist is in need of additional time to complete duties. We are recommending an increase from 10-month employee to a 12-month with appropriate change in compensation. On page 4, the 0.5% market adjustment that I just mentioned would result in the starting teacher pay now reaching a level of $42,728. On page 12, you'll see that the chief officers receive a 2% raise in compensation, which is what we usually do, an increase that is equal to the average rate for all employees. Pages 22 through 53 are the changes that we're making for employees that were involved in the quadrennial review of non-licensed compensation, and those 6 positions are moving up in pay grade in order to stay competitive with our region. On page 55, we mention a rate for co-op students. Also in this budget was return of the Cooperative Office Education Program, and with those, we have students that need to make minimum wage of $7.25. Also on that page, a much-needed raise for cafeteria monitors. On page 56, you'll see that we are recommending a raise to the substitute bus driver rate, which you know we use for recruitment of that position. We're recommending a raise of 25 cents from $12 to $12.25. Also last year, we had an increase in the substitute teacher rate, and we did not do so for the para, and we're recommending a $3 a day rate increase there. You'll also see additions to the pay plan for different special ed therapist type positions. We've never had a special rate for them, so that if we brought them in, we were offering them the substitute teacher rate. And we have a hard time filling those positions when we need substitutes. So we are introducing a rate that's based on the starting rate for those positions if they were to become employed, which is much less expensive than if we were to contract out those services. And then finally, on page 63, taking the supplement for the lead nurse, we had broken it into 2 for elementary and secondary in an effort to recruit somebody for that position last year. We were not able to recruit somebody, so we're asking to put that back together so that there's more incentive for someone to take that position. And that concludes my presentation. I'll take any questions.
Thank you. Questions of board members? Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Second, please.
Second.
Ms. Ford?
A motion is made by Mrs. Kershke and seconded by Dr. George to approve the proposed pay plan. Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes. Thank you. Next action item is consideration of approval of Resolution 17-30 to continue the salaries of members of the York County School Board, and that has not changed. So any comments or questions? If not, could I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second.
Ms. Ford?
A motion is made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Kershke to approve Resolution 17-30. Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes. Thank you. Next, consideration of a motion to authorize the purchase of York County DARE program supplies at a total cost to the school division not to exceed $4,000. And if the cost exceeds $4,000, the DARE program will reimburse the school division any amount over $4,000. Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second, please.
Second.
Comments, questions? Mrs. Ford?
A motion is made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Richardson to approve the motion for the DARE products. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Abstain.
And Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to go at this point back to citizen comment time and pick up where we were before, and then we'll come back to policy. Emma North, and the same comments apply, please. 3 minutes, you will see the yellow light and then the red light. Following Emma is Jonah Hammer. Okay.
My name is Emma North. I live at 107 Sunset Drive, Seaford, Virginia. I would just like to say that I love Miss Milne, and I'm confident that she loves all the students at SOA, just as we love her. My dad always says, take the classes that keep you going to school. And it's hard to believe that, like, I do pretty well in school. I'm pretty involved, but it's still not my favorite thing. It's not most students' favorite thing. But I decided freshman year, when it was between IB and SOA, what kept me coming to school, and that was School of the Arts. And even as a senior, when your truck gets 14 miles to the gallon and you have to drive to Williamsburg every day, it's an extra hour. But I still drive every day, fill up my gas tank at least once a week, and it's hard to keep coming to school. I skip class a lot. I'll skip an entire day and then go all the way up to SOA because Miss Milne's there, and she's what keeps me coming to class. She's an incredible individual. She's so unique. If you ever heard of the musical Hamilton, you'll know that tickets are impossible to get. Miss Milne is someone who can be in New York, have no plans of going to Hamilton, run into an old friend, say, I need extra tickets for this show, and they'll say, oh, well, we can't get you into this lesser-known show, but we'll just give you 2 tickets to Hamilton instead. And she goes, because who else would run into someone like that? She's someone who makes connections with people. She reaches out to people because she cares about people in the community. She cares about the arts community as a whole. She's connections all over the country, and that's so important to have when you run a program like this. It's unique. I've taken arts classes at York High School, and it's just not the same. Kids in that class, they're getting suspended from school every day of the week, and half the class doesn't show up most days, and I'm running projects entirely by myself. And then I go to SOA, which is a class of 10 instead of a class of 30, and everyone's working together, and the teacher is invested in every single student in that classroom, and that just means so much to me. This year, I did not get into my first school of choice, partly probably because I was not taking AP English, and I was taking SOA English instead. It was hard to tell my dad that I wasn't going to UVA, but knowing that Miss Milne would be at VCU as her alma mater all the time makes it a lot easier to go to VCU instead of somewhere that I dreamed of going to. She means a lot to me. And having your track coach pass away and your teacher being removed from school in the same week is really hard. I just hope that you consider keeping Miss Milne, and because I don't think anyone else will be able to fill her shoes. It's an incredible position. It's a hard position to hold, and no one really understands the full duties, and I think that she does the best job at it. I don't think you'll find anyone to replace her, and I think you should keep her on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Alexandra Hernandez follows Jonah.
Hi, my name is Jonah Hammond, live at 125 Wichita Lane. And I'm here on behalf of Miss Milne. First of all, thank you all members of the board for allowing us to present our cases here and having the patience to listen. I am a sophomore class president of Bruton High School and have been elected junior class president as well. And I have been going to MSAM and SOA for a total of 5 years now, going on 6 next year. And we may not know the official reason on why her contract has not been renewed, but I do understand if it is something along the lines of financial cuts and just financial budget problems, because that is something that happens in every school division around the country. Although it seems like an easy thing to do to just get rid of an administrator who gets paid more than a teacher, but Miss Milne is more than just an administrator, and being SOA's only, person out there that's been here so long and just really a mother of SOA, she has an important job that would be extremely hard to fill, and it really wouldn't work if it was just lumped in with Bruton. I have been in musicals for SOA and Bruton, and the difference is night and day. And Miss Milne, as her job is important, she is important as a person also. She has excellent character and is a great example to students. Under SOA, we have a specific dress code that we have to follow, for example, when we go to any field trip. And that includes not wearing denim jeans and, dressing up to any occasion, even if it's an artist coming in to talk to us in our own auditorium. And that's something that, Miss Milne just shows as important, an important life skill as that too. And she has an important role as administrator, and there are other administrators at Bruton High School, for example, a testing coordinator whose job isn't as crucial and that could be lumped in with something else. Well, SOA coordinator is so important, and it can't be replaced. She can't be replaced, and her job can't be replaced either. And she's just an excellent person. Please reconsider renewing her contract this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Old is next after Alexandria.
Can I address this? Hello, my name is Alessandra Hernandez. I live at 272 Bald Eagle Way, Camp Perry in Williamsburg, Virginia. I am a senior this year. I have been in SOA all 4 years. I've taken Lit, theater, and tech, and I was an MSAM in 6th grade. The arts can be very cutthroat, and elitism and favoritism runs rampant, but Miss Milne has never participated in that. She treats everyone equal. Everyone is her child. Everyone will always be able to depend on her. I'll take you throughout a little journey of my high school years. It's been incredibly difficult for me. There was a woman earlier who spoke on her child's mental health issues. I struggle with similar issues. And without the support of Miss Milne, I would have never had the courage to seek the help I also so desperately needed. I was alone and scared and sick my freshman year, and Miss Milne was always there to listen to me and talk to me and support me and tell me that I was brave and strong enough to do that audition. I could go and give that speech, and now I'm graduating as Bruton salutatorian, and that's something that I would not have been able to do without her. I don't know if I, at the risk of sounding dramatic, would be alive without her, and I shudder to think what would happen if she weren't here for me. Like Emma, I also did not get into my top choice university, which was Columbia, and I got into Northwestern, which was my second choice. And I was devastated. That was my dream, but Miss Milne
She did research on Northwestern to tell me all the amazing things about it. And I walked out of her office so happy that day. And she's irreplaceable. Everyone deserves a supporter like her, and we've lost so many supporters at SOA throughout my 4 years. And I can promise you that without love of Miss Milne and the dedication we all have for her, we would not have sat through this 3-hour-long meeting. Because trust me, we're sleepy and we're hungry, but we love her so much that we're willing to stay here regardless. And we would all appreciate if you reconsider this position. I'm graduating, Steven's graduating, Rebecca's graduating, Grace is graduating, Emma's graduating. So many people have graduated, and they're still speaking on behalf because we don't want to leave the underclassmen and the people that will still be here without Miss Milne, because they deserve the same support and love that I got, and I don't want them to be in the SOA without Miss Milne. Thank you.
Thank you. And Monica Chandler is after Sarah Old.
Hello, my name is Sarah Old. I live at 201 Skimiddle Landing Drive, and I am here to speak on behalf of Miss Milne as well. Miss Milne has been an additional and vital parent in my life. I don't know where I would be without the support she's provided me for the 6 years I've been in the MSAM and SOA programs. She's always been there for me and always listened to my opinions and treated them with validity and respect, and that means a lot to me. And SOA is a program that preaches professionalism and etiquette and manners. And without those skills that Miss Milne has personally taught me, I got a promotion at work based purely on the fact that I treat people with respect and etiquette and professionalism. And those are things that I learned from Miss Milne. And if you'd like to see an example of the professionalism that goes on in our shows, come to the senior recognition on May 30th at 7 p.m. in the Bruton High School Auditorium. If you'd just like to see a small taste of the professionalism and etiquette that goes through those shows. I have learned so much and have gained so many social skills through the things that I've seen at that program. It operates as a professional theater. It doesn't act like a high school theater when you have to ask everyone for everything. Your title is treated with respect as it would in the professional world, and that is extremely valuable. And that is purely because of Miss Milne's intense drilling of professionalism into the program. It would be any other high school program without her values. And I beg that her position be renewed, but I understand that that's not something that might happen. So if she is to leave, I would ask what kind of systems are being put in place to ensure that the new director and coordinator acts in the favor of even a fraction of what Ms. Milne has put into our program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Monica Chandler, and I live at 102 Villa Way in the Tab area. And I'm here to talk about school start times. I'm wearing purple, which is my favorite color. It wasn't intentional, but I'm very impressed with Mrs. Milne, and I'm very impressed with you guys. Just amazed that you're here to support them. I also am exhausted. This has been a long meeting. I normally would be in bed right now. I'm a 1992 Tab High graduate, and Dr. James at that time was Mr. James, and a wonderful, wonderful administrator and coach. I had to get up really early at that time. I remember they had a 7th period, which started before 1st period. And I remember missing 7th period quite a bit. Dr. James, you had to talk with me once about that. Anyhow, it was exhausting. I'm a good student, I'm someone who's consistent and persistent, and yet I couldn't get up sometimes. Now I'm in bed by 9:30, which is why this is so hard. But my point being that teenagers are different, their bodies are different, their health is different. What sticks out to me, and I have a student who is an 8th grader at Tab Middle, I have 2 younger ones, Mount Vernon, and he gets up at 6 a.m. no matter what. It's Saturday morning, he's up at 6 a.m. So I'm not here because of him in particular, but just because of the research that's been done that shows that teenagers do better when they have later start times. Car accidents are reduced in those cities and towns. Can you imagine if it was even just one life that was saved? Would that be worth it? I mean, I think it would. Test scores go up. graduation rates increase. All those things are benefits to the community. I know there are challenges, and I'm not saying I have the answers, because I don't. But I know other school divisions have done it, and I know that we could look at what they're doing and we could implement those things in our school division. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This concludes our citizen comment time. I am going to move back to the consent calendar and the consideration of approval of personnel actions. Is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll move approval.
Second?
Second.
Any comments, questions?
We can't discuss personnel due to confidentiality. I had planned to pull this earlier because I cannot vote in support of this motion. And that's all I can say.
Any other comments?
I've got just a few comments, if you would, please. You know, my daughter went through the SOA program, dance, rhythm and guards. Miss Milne was there, Katie Sheehan, all of them, and it's a wonderful, wonderful program. And I think it's important to realize we're not here to talk about not protecting your program, okay? I want you to know that. We know how important that program is. And I think it's safe to say that SOA would not be what it is today without Miss Milne. She's a wonderful lady. But you know, regardless of what happens here, sometimes there's a season for everything. And I think we should celebrate that she's going to be with us in York County. I am thrilled with that. And we need to hope that she will shine wherever she is. We have trained staff here to make these decisions. They're based on many, many, many factors. And sometimes we just have to trust that they're doing the right thing. And that's what we're going to choose to do. But, you know, when one door closes, another one will open. And I think that could apply to a coordinator. It could apply to Ms. Milne where she's going. I mean, she's got a lot of exciting things ahead of her, I hope. So just know that we, personally, myself, I will do everything I can to protect this program. That's not what we're about tonight, okay? So just take that off your mind and realize that all these years that you've had there and shared there, that many, many students, hopefully in the future, will be able to experience that same thing. And not taking anything away from Ms. Milne, she's been wonderful for that place. Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Ford?
A motion is made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mr. Richardson for personnel, for the consent calendar, personnel actions, item A. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mrs. Karski?
Abstain.
And Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. We now move down to policy. Under discussion, we don't have any items for discussion under policy. We do have a first reading. Dr. Chandra, if there's anything you want to?
There are no changes.
Okay.
Could I just have a question on, I know it was brought to our attention, some language recommendations from Y Street. Is that something staff can just take a look at and see if they're reasonable?
Yeah, Dr. Carroll can address that.
Okay. Have y'all seen that before now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Medford, we did review that language. We looked at our policy as it was written. I looked at the policy that they proposed, also vetted it through Ms. Economo, the attorney, and this was the final language that we recommend.
Okay, thank you. That was all.
So we'll see this again at second reading. We have 3 items under second reading for action. Dr. Shandor, the first to restate and revise sections of policy.
Of GCBD, there are no changes since last
Okay.
month.
Is there a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Second, please.
Second.
Mrs. Ford, any comments from anyone? Mrs. Ford?
A motion is made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Karski to approve the second reading of the policy. Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Karski?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Shandor, down to the second one, second policy.
Yes, there are no changes as well for that
And this
policy.
is the opt-out provision for secondary school transcripts. Is there a motion to approve?
I move.
Second, please.
Second.
Comments, questions? Mrs. Ford.
A motion is made by Mr. Richardson and seconded by Dr. George to approve the second reading of the policy. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, and thank you. The last one is policy AE, school division mission, beliefs, and goals.
Yes, there's one item. I'm going to ask Dr. Guy if she'll please come to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. On November 7th, 2016, the school board began preliminary discussions regarding the development of the FY 1822 strategic plan. During this discussion, the board reviewed the strategic plan adopted on January 28th, 2013, and affirmed keeping the mission, beliefs, and goals previously established with only minor editorial changes. During the November 2016 work session, division staff also shared a proposed timeline for the development of objectives for the new strategic plan. The proposed timeline for the development of objectives began with a series of stakeholder forums, which were conducted in December and early January. In late January and early February, principals, teachers, and central office staff reviewed and analyzed the data collected from the stakeholder forums. Once this analysis was completed, central office staff developed objectives for the FY 1822 strategic plan. In March, feedback was solicited from the board, principals, assistant principals, teachers, and parents to further refine and revise the draft objectives. You all reviewed a marked-up version of the proposed FY 1822 strategic plan at the work session on April 17th, and a public hearing was held at the regular school board meeting on April 24th. As such, we are bringing policy AE to the board for second reading. This is the school division mission, beliefs, and goals. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
No questions. May I have a motion to approve, please?
I so move.
Second.
Second.
Mrs. Ford.
A motion is made by Mr. Richardson and seconded by Mr. Medford to approve the second reading of the policy AE. Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes, thank you. Dr. Shandor, you have anything else to say?
I have an hour and a half presentation. I'm just kidding. Just a few brief remarks for the superintendent's report tonight. Wanted to share that Dr. George and I attended the 2016 Outstanding Youth Award recognition that was held at the Freight Shed. Was sponsored by the York County Board of Supervisors and the York County Youth Commission, and they honored several of our students for those awards. So that was a wonderful event. Also had the opportunity to attend the annual second-year Powder Puff competition at York High School. It was moved inside this year because it's been raining so much, and I was a nervous wreck the entire time thinking that someone was going to get hurt. So all 4 high schools participated. All the girls played football and had, eye black under their eyes and all that good stuff. So they had a really good time. They were a little bit aggressive at times, but it was all in good fun. And the boys show up from each school, and essentially their boys from the high school show up and they're cheerleaders, and they put on a big competition. And you can kind of see where that goes. I will say that everyone had a great time. They raised a lot of money for a number of good causes for fundraising. It was wonderful. But I have to give it to Miss Haywood. Bruton swept the
That's all right.
football game as well as the cheerleading. So it was a wonderful event for the community. Unfortunately, hopefully we can have it outside next year. One of the board members brought up the employment recognition banquet. I'm not sure which one, but last year I did this and the year before, and I think it's important that we recognize them this evening. So real quick, Chrissy Wagner, she's a coordinator of language arts and social studies. She received the superintendent's award. Amy Hunter and Master Deputy Jeff Charville, who is here in attendance this evening, they received the Spirit of Education Award, and that was a very moving video for many of you who were in the room. Catherine Fulop at Seaford Elementary School received the Para Educator of the Year Award. Linda Sulick at York Middle School custodian, she received the Support Staff Member of the Year. And if you've been to York Middle School, that building shines. All of our buildings shine. That one shines a little brighter. April Inslee, YES Elementary Teacher of the Year. Teresa Guthrie was the Tab Middle School She was the middle school teacher of the year as well as the division overall teacher of the year. And finally, Aaron McQuillan, Grafton High School, he was the high school teacher of the year. So I like to make sure that we recognize them here. We also that night recognized a number of members of our team who have 25 years of service, as well as all of our retirees who were leaving the division. Finally, this past Saturday, I had the opportunity to attend the 20th annual 200-plus Scholars event over in Hampton at the Hampton Roads Convention Center. It was a remarkable event, probably 700 or so students there who were recognized, and they're basically our best and brightest African-American male high school students in Hampton Roads. And a number of our high school principals and assistant principals were there, as well as division staff, recognizing our young men. And this concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Is there any matter we need to further discuss? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Very last minute, I usually open up, I didn't sign up, I didn't want to address the board.
Does the board want the privilege?
Sure.
Thank you. I know the meeting hasn't gone long enough. But my name is Carol Bauer. I reside at 314 Brook Lane. I wanted to acknowledge first the passion from the many speakers tonight. I planned on speaking at the end purposefully, and I planned on doing it because I didn't want to get in the middle of all that. Because I wanted to say some goodbyes to some phenomenal people and say how much we appreciated working with them. Dennis Jarrett, your number crunching will be missed. Thank you for the strong foundation that you've left with York County Schools. Catherine Jones, I know she's been at many, many schools, but I can speak from personal stories that she always put students first. I just wanted to say thank you to those people. I also wanted to say that extraordinary people are difficult to say goodbye to, and want to say goodbye to Mrs. Kursky. Your work ethic has been nothing short of inspiring. You were never afraid to ask the questions, and we appreciated that. Thank you so very much. You know, even when you know something's coming, it's hard to deal with it, be prepared for how it feels when the time actually arrives. My wish for you is that life becomes all that you want it to be, that may your dreams be as always big as you want them to be. You will be missed, and we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hit that thing.
One more time. We are adjourned. Thank you.